Okay guys, so today I will be doing a review of Vivobarefoot's Tracker Decon Low FG2s. Okay, a little bit of a mouthful, but what Vivobarefoot have done, have marketed this as a hiking shoe, and they're sort of the baby brother of the high-rise hiking shoe, which has the ankle support. Okay, so these are more of a sort of stripped down version. And on the website, they do say these are hiking shoes as well. I would say they're suitable for a light hike, probably nothing intense due to the lack of ankle support. I've been wearing these for about a month now as everyday shoes, just going to work in them and doing a little bit of gym work too. So this is my review of these Vivobarefoot's Tracker Decon Low FG2s. Okay, so let's start with the appearance of the shoe. And I have to say, guys, I think this is one of Vivobarefoot's best looking shoes to date. So if we start with the top of the shoe, so we have a knitted upper material here, which does give you a bit more support compared to the sort of mesh material that you find on the Primus Lights. But also it remains very breathable and ventilated, so when you are on particular long walks and your feet start to get a bit warm, they do sort of ventilate your feet very well. And in terms of around the side, we have a more rigid leather structure, which I suppose is a lot better for walking long distance. They do keep your feet a lot more secure, and the sole itself is stitched a lot more securely when compared to other Vivobarefoots, such as the Primus Light. So sometimes on the Primus Lights, people have been having a problem where the sole is coming away from the toe box and the top of the shoe, where the shoe bends. Whereas on this one, I think these will be much more durable. You can see even on the sole, they've gone for sort of a multi-colour design and this sort of speckled design at the base here. One thing that is very noticeable is the sole of the shoe is much more grippy. So you can see the grip on the shoe here, which has kept me very secure. It's been particularly icy in the UK, and I have been walking about in these and I've had no problem at all. So the grip on these on a wet, icy or dry day is fantastic, guys. And as I said before, the sort of leather construct all the way surrounding the shoe is keeps your feet very stable and secure. In terms of the laces, you can see they are quite funky and they are very elasticated. So they do keep your feet held within the shoe. They don't come loose, which is ideal. And the shoe itself, you'll notice that there's actually no separation between the tongue of the shoe and the rest of the shoe. So it's almost sort of like a slipper-like material when putting your feet in these shoes, which makes it very easy to get on and off. You've got this little tag here at the back to help slide your feet in. And overall, guys, in terms of appearance, I think a very attractive shoe. In terms of the size then, I did go for my normal, which is size 10. However, one thing I did find was with these Tracker Decon's lows is that they seemed a little bit looser when compared to other Vivobarefoot shoes I've tried. So I've also tried the Asanas and the Primus Light 3s, and they felt a little bit more tight on my feet, but not in a negative way, in a good way. Whereas these feel a little bit more loose, even though they are the same size. So I'm not sure whether this is an intentional design by Vivobarefoot to make your shoes looser, or whether it is just part of the design, but I've not really noticed it caused me any issues. I do normally prefer to have my feet feel a little bit more secure, but this hasn't really negatively affected my experience. It's just one thing to note that they may feel a little bit looser. I probably wouldn't size down. I would still go for the size 10, but just one thing to note. So in terms of comfort, of course, you get the wide toe box as with all Vivobarefoot shoes, and they zero drop of the shoe, so it is still flat-footed. I have walked around in these all day, and I can say they are very comfortable. Probably actually the most comfortable shoes I have worn by Vivobarefoot for walking around all day. And that may in part be due to this slightly thicker sole, which makes walking long distances a little bit easier. One drawback though is that they are not as flexible. So with the Primus Lights, you know, they fold instantly, whereas these do have some give to them and they are still flexible, but just not as much as other Vivobarefoot shoes. And I suppose that is just to try and make them more secure when you are going on hikes. So I think that is intentional, but that is just one thing to note. In terms of ankle support, I wish there was a little bit more support around the ankle, as it is quite soft, especially sort of when you're going uphill or you're doing lateral movements. But overall, not really been too much of an issue. In terms of durability, I do think these will be a lot more durable. I have only been wearing these for about a month or so now, so only time will tell. But compared to the Primus Light 3s and the Asanas, I feel like these will last much longer, in part due to the stitching of the sole here, which I think will be a lot harder to sort of peel away from the rest of the shoe. So are there any drawbacks to this shoe? The only one I can think of is that they are heavier than Primus Light 3s and the Asanas, for example. It is a little bit noticeable, but they are still much lighter than your normal shoe. So once you've got them, you can only really feel the weight difference in your hand. Once you've got them on your feet, you can't really tell. So whilst that may be a negative, overall, it doesn't really affect the wearing experience of the shoe. It's just one thing to note that if you like really flexible shoes and really light shoes, these probably aren't it. They are a little bit heavier, but overall still very light, and I've had no issues with my feet feeling tired wearing these or feeling heavy. So overall, guys, a very good shoe. Thoroughly recommend. If you have tried them, let me know your thoughts. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.